Here is a quick video to show you how to use the TI-84 calculator for calculating mean, standard deviation and so on of one variable statistics. Kind of thing you will need for your exam papers, but also particularly for your coursework. Bearing in mind, of course, for your coursework you'll also need to show working. So this is the simplest kind of question. All we do is enter the data into the calculator. So we go to Stat and Edit, and then just type in the data. I've got the first number already entered, so I can do it again. 78, 56, having typed the data in, all I need to do is go back to Stat, Calculate, and it's one variable statistics because the only variable obviously is score, so I hit enter. My data is in list 1. I don't have a frequency list because each number just turns up once, so all I do is say calculate. Okay. So the mean score was 64.4 and the standard deviation was 22.0658, blah blah blah. You can also scroll down for more information, so this is quite useful to double check that you have actually typed all the numbers in. In longer lists people often make mistakes. So it's saying there's 5 numbers in this list. And if we scroll down, you've also got this 5-figure summary which is helpful for drawing box plots. So the minimum value was 32, the lower quartile 44, and so on. The other values in this list don't really ever need to use. Now, suppose the question becomes a little bit more sophisticated in the kind of GCSE question that you were used to, where there were 3 people who scored 55, 8 people who scored 65, and so on. So I don't just want the average of this list. I want what economists would call a weighted average. So at GCSE you would have typed into your calculator 55 times 3 plus 65 times 8 plus 75 times 9 and so on, and then divided it by the total of the frequency. Well, here all you have to do is type it in as 2 lists. So we do the same as before, we go to Edit. Now to get rid of the data in that list, I'm just going to pop up to the top there and go Clear. And it's given me a nice clean starting point. So I type in the values. And this list is where the frequencies will go. Sometimes you'll find that people have deleted a whole list, so you just have list 1 and list 3 showing. Doesn't matter, not a problem. Okay, so exactly the same as before. Now we go to Stat, Calculate. We're still on one variable statistics, even though we've got 2 columns here. Remember, the only variable is the score. This isn't a variable, it's just the number of times that score occurred. 2 variable statistics would be things like height and weight. So we go to one variable statistics. The data is stored in list 1, but the number of times each data point turns up is going to be in list 2. So you've got all the lists down here in blue. So I enter list 2. Now I tell it to calculate, and we've got the same display as before. You can double check that you've typed everything in correctly, because it's saying it's dealing with 30 data points. 3, 11, 20, 26, 30 looks about right. So the mean score was 75. Okay. Standard deviation here was 11.8. And if I scroll down, I could draw a box plot from 55 through to 95.